Good morning and welcome to John Beck. This is your principal, Mr. Lin, and I hope that you had a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday yesterday. Today is Thursday, December 15th, 2022, and it is a day C. For instruments, it is a day 5. Now, before we kick off this wonderful day, I want to invite you, as I always do, to please stand and face the flag for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Go ahead and take a seat. I'm so happy that you're here. I love it. I always say that without you, our school doesn't exist, and it's true. And because my job and my life is all about being, a caretaker here at the school, I love the fact that you give me purpose, and that's amazing. Now let's go over our lunch menu for today. We've got 4 choices. As always, you know that. Our first choice is mac and cheese with a whole grain pretzel rod, WG being whole grain. Choice 2 is the Warrior Munchie meal. Choice 3, the turkey sandwich meal for kindergarten through 2nd grade, and then the turkey sandwich for 3rd through 6th grade. Last but not least, choice 4 is the Sun Butter sandwich. All right, so go ahead and make your selection. And of course, if you're a Packer, you are good to go. Now, we have 3 expectations here at the school. You know what they are. Number 1, be respectful. Number 2, show that you're responsible. Number 3, show that you are ready. Now, we just want to go over a couple things that we've already gone over, but I'm seeing some good things from you, right? So, for instance, I happen to know, just by looking over the cameras and things like that, that many of you guys are trying to remember when you leave breakfast, if you eat breakfast, to go to your class from the cafeteria the way you should be, right? So if you're in kindergarten, 1st grade, and 2nd grade, when you get to that intersection, you go towards the lobby, right, where the main office is, cut down towards 1st and kindergarten. And if you're in kindergarten, 1st grade, that's where you would go to class. You would hang a right at the end of that hallway to get to 2nd grade, if you're in 2nd grade. And now for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th, in 5th grade students, you would just go straight towards the nurse in the art room and then kind of wind your way back to your classroom respectively. Not everybody's following the rules, but many of you guys are, and I'm really grateful for that. I can't be everywhere at once, so this is a classic opportunity for you to do the right thing when nobody else is looking. So thank you for doing that. That's amazing. I also happen to know, as I've checked in with a handful of students, that some of your friends, some of you guys are making decisions on how to be funny, right? Some of you guys are actually proving to be quite funny without having to use inappropriate words or without having to talk meanly about people or make fun of people. And that's pretty cool. It's kind of neat to actually have some legit comedians, right? I love the fact that many of you guys appreciate humor and many of you guys are also doing it the right way, right? You're not making people feel uncomfortable. Great job with that. Not everybody's doing that just yet. I think that some of you guys who aren't doing it, though, are putting in some of the effort, and I like seeing that. I am aware of that. The other thing, and by the way, so all of this basically shows that you're being respectful, right? It's not right here in the moment. It's not when I'm talking to you. Almost all of you guys are respectful when I talk to you. The question is, are you going to stay respectful to the bigger mission? Are you going to do the right thing when nobody else is looking? You're going to take care of our school, right? So taking care of our school, here's a classic case, right? You go into the bathroom, you see, I've used this example, paper towels on the floor right next to the trash can. You could walk away and not take care of it. But remember, I like having your back, and I hope that you'll have my back, right? Taking care of the school is part of my responsibility, part of Mr. Lin's responsibility. And I would love it if you would help me, right? If you picked up and cleaned up after yourself, that helps me. That helps the job your teachers are doing, the job our custodial staff are doing. Same thing too, right? You may have a dry erase marker, or you might have a pencil or pen, and you might want to, there's a part of you that says, if nobody sees me, maybe I'll write on something I shouldn't write on, like maybe in a book I shouldn't write on, or on the wall, right? So many of you guys already know the answer. Shouldn't do it. And I love the fact that many of you guys don't. That's awesome. It helps me take care of the school. Once again, every time you do the right thing, you're essentially having my back, and I love it. And that's pretty amazing. So there's a lot of good things, is my point. And I love hearing all the great things. I love seeing all the great things. It's not stuff that I just ignore. I actually notice it, even if I've got to talk to kids who are, not following the directions. The kids who are following directions, I'm noticing you. I notice it when you guys talk about love, care, and encouragement. I notice it even more when you start showing it. Yesterday there was a girl who just simply asked me how my day was, right? I mean, that meant a lot. That was a kid who actually wanted to know Mr. Lin's day. How was it going, right? It feels good when people take time to notice and ask these questions. Go ahead, guys. Make sure you talk to your friends and be intentional and listen to them. Talk to your teachers too. And yeah, we've got a lot of kids who are out sick. We've got some teachers who are out sick too. Make sure when you do see them that you ask how they're doing. Are they getting better? Are they feeling better, right? These are the little questions that we ask that actually can make our world change for the better. All right, let's go into our this day in history. Today, like I said, is December 15th. If you go back into history, we've talked a little bit about the Revolutionary War, right? We belong to England. We broke away from England. We created our own country called the United States of America. And we created our first rule book, right? If you're going to create a country, you're going to need to have some rules. A fancy word for rules is actually laws, right? You've got to have some laws. And you've got to have some general regulations. You got to have some rules on how you're going to make rules, right? How's your government going to act? Are you going to have a king or not? Are you going to have a Congress with a president, right? Well, by the way, that's what we chose to do. And then we created this rule book. This rule book on how to run the United States of America is called the Constitution. Maybe you've heard that word before. The Constitution is just a fancy word for the main rule book for how to run this country, right? And you have to follow it. But rules, if you're like me, like if you're making up a game and you create a rule, you may realize after playing with the rules, you might have to make some changes to rules, like to make the game go well. And our country isn't a game, but it's got rules, it's got laws, and it's got ways on how to do things. And shortly after we created our Constitution, it became very clear that we needed to make a few changes. We need to actually make 10 changes. And the fancy word for changes in our government is called an amendment. You could say that word, amendment. Amend, by the way, just means to fix. So there are 10 things that we're going to fix. We're going to add to our rule book. So the first 10 amendments actually speak to something that maybe our creators of our country thought were really important, but didn't actually write it down. And they're like, we should actually write it down. Like how to treat people, right? Treat people well. If you go to a different church than I do, or maybe you don't even celebrate a religion, maybe you celebrate a completely different religion, should you be treated with fairness? Should you be treated with kindness? That's called the freedom of religion. If you are upset about our president, if you're upset or if you disagree with our government, can you say whatever you want to say and not get thrown into prison? Right? That's called the freedom of speech. When a police officer stops you and they can they stop you for no reason and search your car, or can they just for the fun of it just break into your house and search your house? No, you can't. And a lot of these rules were part of these first 10 additions to the Constitution. And these first 10 amendments became known as the Bill of Rights. Okay, you can say with me, the Bill of Rights. And just like the Constitution, each state had to vote and say, yes, we're going to officially add that to our understanding of the rules. And the first state, Virginia, the first state to basically accept the Bill of Rights was the state of Virginia. And so that happened today, December 15th, back in 1791. And we actually have had a lot of other additions to our rules. If I remember correctly, it's about 27. Correct me if I'm wrong, teachers. I'm just going off the top of my head. But yeah, we have 27 amendments, which is not that bad after a couple hundred years. Okay. So anyways, if you're interested on how our government runs, how it works, how do you make changes to these rules that were made hundreds of years ago, well, now you know. All right. Listen, if nobody else has told you this, I love you, care about you, here to encourage you. Spread the word, but more than the words, show it with action. Show what love, care, and encouragement means. Find the people that need love, give it to them. Find the people who need care, give it to them. Find the people who need encouragement, give it to them. And most of us need all three. All right, can't wait to see you guys around. Have an amazing Thursday.